Hi there, this is Puneet Lamba back again with my third video. Well, this of course is a continuation video to the previous one that we made on curiosity, and of course it is the second subject of importance of 3 C's. Well, this is communication. You can't have an answer to your curiosity till you communicate back to the client. That is the importance of communication. You have to communicate back and forth with the client to reach conclusions. Unless you communicate, you can't reach conclusions. So we all understand the importance of communication, right? So I'm not going to discuss much of that, but we will be talking about how to communicate with the client, which is the right tool of communication. That's what we will be discussing in this video. Before we take a deeper dive into that, let's first understand the problem. The problem is we would normally write an email back to the client or maybe put it in a web application, all our questions. Client will respond back. Another email will go back from your side. You were curious, you wanted to help, you wanted to understand. It ended up being a frustration for the client. Is that of any use? Look at this example over here. Of course, we blurred all the communication up because we can't have you read what was going on between too many people. But the problem is this long chain of emails, too many people talking and just sharing their thoughts. That's not helpful. It's never going to reach a conclusion. And it ends up adding frustration, right? So how to solve this problem? The best way to solve this problem is to first understand the use of the tools available. But before we understand that, let's understand what kind of tools are available to us. Long form communication, emails and web applications. For short form communication, the chat tools, and then the voice-based communication. Right? So these are 3 types of communication you can have, or these are 3 different segments in the tools that you can use for communication. Right? So if I was you in the similar scenario, what would I do? I would be first having a quick chat with the client. Back in the days, you would write an email, wait for an appointment email coming back from the client. That takes days, sometimes weeks, sometimes hours. Right? But now, because the chats are available, you can see when the client is active. WhatsApp, chat, Slack, Skype, all of that, all those short form communication tools are available. You can check whether or not the client is active or the other person is active or not. Ask a question. Are you available for a quick chat tomorrow, day after? You get an appointment, set up the appointment like over here in this chat example. Close-ended question, right? It's not about setting appointments. It is about closed-ended questions on the chats. Right? Once you've agreed the time, actions, what you do is follow it up with an email. Follow it up with an email with an appointment. Have a discussion. Now you can have the discussion at length. It could be one-on-one discussion. It could be one with many discussions. But what happens is when you have a group of people or an individual discussing over a phone call, you ultimately reach a conclusion. The conclusion could be next meeting, or the conclusion could be the action items, the steps for each and every individual. And that's where you want it to reach. That is where the phone calls and such communications are very, very helpful. Once you've reached a conclusion, what is the next thing to do? The next thing to do is follow it up. Follow it up with an email. Now document a structured communication. Here are the discussion points. Here is what we agreed. Here are the action items for you, for me, for anybody else. That is the best use of communication in terms of emails and web applications. Tomorrow, you can give reference of this document, of this email, of this web application point, and you will never be in any kind of dilemma or confusions. You will have exact reference point and a reference subject to refer to. That is the best use of the tools available. All right. So I hope once again this video was of help, and thank you very much for watching.